Dingo created history on the weekend. As part of its annual charity race day, the town witnessed the first ostrich races ever run in Australia.
Most years, the punters come to Dingo's Bowman Park for the horses. The annual charity race day always attracting a crowd bigger than the town's population. And this year was no different. More than 500 people invading the community. But this time round, most were here to see racing of a different kind.
There they go. The socks are off, and who's out? None.
Not the best start for the four birds, and possibly even worse for some of the jockeys. The Dingo track's not exactly soft. But after a little coaxing, it was Al in the green and brown colours who found the momentum. She powered home to take Australia's very first ostrich race.
He's made well back, but Al is getting close to the wire. Bookie's mate's the only one in business, the other two are out of the saddle, and Al wins the ostrich race.
With the big birds safely back in their pens, it was time for the traditional Dingo trap throwing competition. A strong breeze ensured the record of 45 metres was safe, although some were still trying hard to better the mark. Local hero and past winner Sandy Bowman had the best throw of the day, 36.15 metres. Not to be outdone, however, was Blackwater school teacher Andrew Stone. Competing in his first ever trap throwing competition, evident by his strange technique, Stone's throw of 35.3 metres was good enough for third.
Good evening. A charity group who organised Australia's first ostrich race has hit back at claims the event is an abuse of animals for human gain. The RSPCA wants the sport banned, but the Queensland Spastic Welfare League says no such opinion was held prior to the event when advice was sought.
The four ostriches, the main attraction at Dingo's annual charity race day, were auctioned then raced, raising money for the Queensland Spastic Welfare League. But these antics have not impressed the RSPCA, labelling it an abuse of beautiful birds for human gain and entertainment that borders on mistreatment.
We are not alleging that the animal's legs were broken or anything like that. It is a matter of what is the appropriate use. It seems clear to us, and our advice from the experts is that the stress they suffer can lead to the death of birds.
Unless ostrich racing is dropped from next year's program, the Society says it will ask the state government to ban riding of the birds. But the Spastic Welfare League is angry, claiming the protection group was consulted 2 months prior to the race day. Phone inquiries made about safety requirements, but a letter 2 days before the event brought no response from the RSPCA.
I asked the RSPCA for any, if they had any further problems with what we had done, if there's anything else we can do to make the day a safe day, and I got no reply.
The RSPCA tells a different story though, claiming the Rockhampton inspector who received the letter did contact the league by phone to reinforce the Society's concerns. However, does admit in retrospect the advice given should have been firmer. Organisers also sought advice from the Ostrich Farming Association, which didn't have a problem with racing the birds and recommended breeder Brian Price. To familiarise the ostriches, one considered to be part of his family, he and the 3 other jockeys regularly rode the birds in the lead up to the race.
The birds' welfare is our major priority. So if we hood the birds and get them onto where we want them, nice and calm, not stressed, you know, that's all the better.
Kirstine Murray, WIN News.
The RSPCA accuses the Spastic Welfare League of allowing animals to be abused at an ostrich race.
It was the biggest day on the racing calendar at Dingo in central Queensland. The mounts were paraded and then auctioned to an eager crowd. After some tentative moments, they were off and racing. Not quite the sport of kings, all but one rider fell on the dry and dusty track.
Bookie's mate's the only one in business, the other two are out of the saddle.
The birds are owned by Brian Price.
They love it. That bird I ride, the hen there, she's part of the family. The more contact she gets with me, the more she loves it.
The RSPCA says ostriches are easily stressed, and despite all the good intentions, Saturday's race was just plain cruelty.
We hope that this is the first and the last time that ostriches are used like this in Australia.
The day raised $12,000 for a Miss Queensland entrant. Joanne Nash from the Spastic Welfare League says the local RSPCA officer had approved the race.
I'd say that there was nowhere did it state that we couldn't race the birds, but we had to make sure that the birds weren't stressed. There was a vet on site on the day.
They're reading that proper advice that we don't have power to stop them as some sort of consent.
The League says it's happy to cooperate with the Society. The RSPCA will ask the government to legislate against ostrich racing and any other sport that involves distressing animals for money or entertainment. Steve Marshall, National 9 News.